It's going to be a very difficult year. Everybody's well aware of that. We've got a great opportunity to make some good reforms as far as the way that our state's managed. Revenue is not, we talked about it earlier, revenue is not a huge issue. Well, it is a huge issue, but revenue is not the number one problem. The number one problem is how our state's managed. We've been poorly managed, and we've got an opportunity here to change the way we do business in Oklahoma, and really put us on a good playing field for as far as moving forward. When things start to come back, to have some real opportunities to address some of the funding issues that we have not addressed in the past.
You talked about tax credit reform and also apportionment reform. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we've got apportionment in Oklahoma. We've got a $7 billion budget that we appropriate. However, there's $13 billion to $14 billion that come into the state that off of revenues. The other half of the budget is apportioned, so it never gets to the hands of appropriators. It's designated to go to certain areas. So changing the way some of those apportionment programs are happening will give the state a little bit more of discretionary funds to be able to change how we're doing business in Oklahoma, as far as when we do have some of the shortfalls like we have now, we have more discretionary funds to move to core funding areas. Tax credit reform, we also have a huge amount of tax credits that go out in the state. Some of these tax credits are good. We've got to make sure that the tax credits that we're using have a good return on their investment. Some of them were put in place years and years ago, good old boy programs, or different things like that. That they're obsolete, they're not working. People are just basically cashing in on the state. We need to go and evaluate all of our tax credit programs, and we've got a commission in place now that's doing that, and they'll be able to come back to the legislature with a report and say, hey, this program, we're getting it's creating jobs, it's getting a good return on investment for the state of Oklahoma, and the ones that aren't efficient, the ones that aren't working, the ones that are costing us money, we'll be able to go in and change those and do away with those after that report comes back.
So along with the budget crisis, we're also facing a huge crisis in education. That's what people are crying for, some kind of change. So what are we going to do to fix education?
Well, what we need to do to fix education is everybody who is sitting at home upset about education needs to show up at the local school board meeting, and they need to hold their school board accountable, and they need to hold their superintendent accountable, and they need to hold their teachers accountable. Everybody wants to come to the legislature to fix state issues. It's not that or to fix education issues. It's not that easy. Jenks Public School District is not the same as Sharon Mutual Public School District. They operate differently. There's different needs. The students are different. It's something that the local school board should be controlling. We're trying to do away with some of the end of instruction testing. We need to open up our teachers, free them up to teach our students for critical thinking and different things like that, as opposed to teaching strictly towards a test. But the way that has to happen is that it has to happen at a local level. People need to hold their school board accountable, and their school board needs to hold their superintendent and their principal and their teachers accountable. It's not our job to tell each different school district how they need to operate. Those school districts need to make that decision on what fits them best.